In this video, I will show you the optimizations that Nerdio Manager for Azure Virtual Desktop can provide for your session host VMs when it comes to the operating system disks. OS disks of session hosts are important in their performance while the VM is running. So it's good to use SSD disks, either premium or standard, for running VMs. However, when the VMs are stopped, it's important to convert those disks to HDD or spinning media so that you're not spending money on the more premium, more expensive SSD disks when those VMs aren't running. So let's go ahead and take a look at that configuration and what Nerdio Manager can help you with in that scenario. So let's start out with a pooled session host pool. So let's go ahead and click on Auto Scale Configure. And we'll see that there is a selection for the running OS disk type. And in my case here, I've configured a premium SSD to be my running OS disk. And then I also have a stopped OS disk type called standard HDD. So this is going to be the cheaper tier, and Nerdio Manager will handle automatically converting from premium SSD to standard HDD when the VM is shut down, and from the standard HDD back to premium SSD when the VM is powered on. And that's all great, and that has been in Nerdio Manager for some time now, and it is driving very significant savings for most of our customers. However, now, with the introduction of the Start VM on Connect feature in Azure, VMs can be powered on by users outside of the Nerdio Manager, and therefore those VMs could be powered on without Nerdio Manager being aware and without having a chance to convert the disk from standard HDD up to premium SSD. And therefore, we've added a new option that can automatically set all hosts to running OS disk type during the pre-staging hours when Start VM on Connect is enabled and the minimum active host capacity is 0. So again, the situation we're trying to address is if you are using auto-scaling from Nerdio to shut down all the VMs when no users are logged into the system, and then allow users to automatically power on those VMs by simply connecting to their desktop, what you want to make sure is that those VMs are properly converted to the running OS disk type, which in our case is a premium SSD one, rather than staying at the standard HDD level. So what we now have is a checkbox in the pre-staging hosts section. So if we're, for instance, pre-staging Monday through Friday at 8 a.m., and we are making sure that we are going to be starting a certain number of hosts, or maybe we're not going to be starting any hosts during this time because we're going to wait for users to connect and power on those hosts on demand only. We now have this checkbox that if it's checked, then at 8 a.m. Monday through Friday, the OS disks are going to be automatically converted to premium SSD and then converted back if those VMs aren't powered on by any users. So again, checking this box and clicking Save will allow those disks to be automatically converted to our higher performance running tier, and then converted back to the standard tier or the stopped tier when those hosts aren't used, for example, after an hour or after 2 hours or after 30 minutes, depending on what your scale and delay configuration is. So this addresses the situation of users powering on their VMs through Azure directly and still being able to get the right performance while keeping the OS disks at the standard tier while they are powered off at night. Now, this is how it works for multi-session pooled host pools. Now let's take a look at how this works for single user personal host pools. So here I have a personal host pool. And if we go to Auto Scale Configure, we'll notice that there is now a new section that has been added called Host OS Disks. And this section allows you to define when the running and stopped disk types for this particular host pool. So now when the VMs are powered off, let's say if our working hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and we are going to have premium SSD during work hours and then standard HDD outside of those hours. And we have start on connect enabled. So let's go ahead and turn that on. So we're going to go to auto scale, properties, WVD, and we're going to enable start VM on connect. And then we're going to come back into the auto scale configure page. So let's go back to auto scale configure. We will see that we now have this checkbox available here too, that basically says to set all hosts to running OS disk type during work hours, which is the premium SSD. And then as the VMs are powered off outside of those hours, they will automatically be converted from SSD to HDD, saving money on these personal desktops. So now Nerdio Manager optimizes both pooled host pools and personal host pools when it comes to the operating system disks, and it handles the situation of allowing users to power on their VMs on Connect, which has recently become available from Microsoft. Hope you found this useful and you leverage this feature to save even more on your Azure consumption with the Nerdio Manager. See you in the next video.